Rose and Lilian were inseparable friends. Everyone in the neighborhood thought they were sisters, and their bond was even stronger than that of siblings. They did everything together. If Rose's mother asked her to go to the market to buy foodstuffs, Lilian would always tag along, carrying half the load and shouting all the way. The two shared secrets, dreams, and a love for adventure that made their days exciting. Their favorite place to hang out was the park near their homes. They would sit on the swing, dreaming about their future. Rose wanted to open a flower shop, as she loved colors and nature. Lilian, on the other hand, dreamed of becoming a medical doctor, taking care of the sick. One sunny afternoon, as the girls played on the swing, Lilian turned to Rose and said, "Do you think we ever stop being friends?" "Never," Rose replied firmly, kicking her legs higher to go faster. "We will always be like this, no matter what." But life, as it often does, had other plans for them. Lilian was born into a wealthy family, and her lifestyle reflected her privileged background. She had access to the finest things life could offer: designer clothes, shiny shoes, luxury bags, and the latest iPhone 16 Pro Max. Shopping trips to the mall were a regular event for her. She loved browsing through the latest collections and picking out the trendiest outfits. And sometimes when she went shopping, she took Rose with her. Rose, on the other hand, was born into an average home. Her mother, Rachel, was a hard-working woman who sold fresh vegetables at the local market. Rachel was known for her cheerful attitude and dedication to her trade, earning the respect of the community. Rose often helped her mother at the market, learning the value of hard work and responsibility from a young age. Sometimes, Rose would stay at the market for hours, helping her to arrange the vegetables neatly or calling out to customers with a warm smile. "Buy your fresh vegetables. Come and buy the best veggies in town," she would shout out, her voice lively and cheerful. On days when her mother had to attend an occasion or run an errand, Rose would take full charge of the store. She handled the customers confidently, selling at the accurate prices and giving correct change without missing a beat. "Thank you for your patronage," she would say politely, as her mother had taught her. Despite her busy schedule, Rose never complained. She admired her mother's determination and wanted to make her proud. But whenever she was at the market, her thoughts often drifted to Lilian. She would wonder what her friend was doing at that moment. Perhaps browsing through the racks of fancy clothes or sipping an iced drink at the mall. Though their lives were vastly different, Rose never let their contrasting world affect their friendship. To her, Lilian was more than just a wealthy friend. She was like a sister. And Lilian, in turn, always made Rose feel included in their glamorous lifestyle, even buying her gifts or bringing her treats. Rose's life in the market and Lilian's life in the luxury painted a vivid contrast, yet their bond remained unshaken. Or so they believed. Neither of them realized that the challenges ahead would soon reveal cracks in their seemingly unbreakable friendship. Lilian's father, Mr. Lucius, was a well-known and influential man. His wealth and connection made him one of the most respected figures in the city. Whether it was in business or social circles, his name carried weight. Mr. Lucius had built his fortune through years of hard work, and his success was evident in the sprawling mansion the family lived in and the luxurious lifestyle they enjoyed. His wife, Patricia, was equally admired. She carried herself with grace and elegance, always dressed in the latest fashion and exuding confidence wherever she went. Patricia's beauty was the talk of the community, and her charm complemented her husband's commanding presence. Together, they were a powerful couple, often seen at the high-profile events and charity galas. The Lucius family was blessed with 3 children: Fred, Frank, and their youngest daughter, Lilian. Fred, the eldest, was intelligent and ambitious, following his father's footsteps. He had just begun working at one of Lucius' companies, learning the ropes of the family business. Frank, the middle child, was a bit more carefree. He loved sports and spent most of his time with his friends, enjoying the perk of their wealthy lifestyle. Lilian, the youngest and the only daughter, was the jewel of the family. Mr. Lucius adored her and often referred to her as his princess. She had inherited her mother's stunning looks and her father's cleverness. Growing up in such privilege, Lilian was accustomed to the finest things in life. She had a closet full of designer clothes, shelves overflowing with shoes and bags, and a lifestyle that many could only dream of. Despite their wealth, the Lucius family valued unity and often spent time together, especially during lavish family dinners. Lilian, however, found her greatest joy not in the material wealth around her, but in her friendship with Rose. To her, Rose was a refreshing change from the opulence she was surrounded by, a reminder of simplicity and authenticity. But deep down, their differences in upbringing sometimes created an unspoken tension. While Lilian admired Rose's hardworking nature, she couldn't fully grasp the challenges her friend faced. And for Rose, stepping into the Lucius mansion always felt like entering another world, a world she admired but didn't belong to. Whenever it was time to go shopping, Lilian always made a big deal of it. She loved the thrill of picking out new clothes, shoes, and accessories. One Saturday morning, Lilian approached her father in his room. She held her 2 hands together and gave her the best puppy dog eyes. "Daddy, please, can Rose and I go shopping today? We'll be back soon, I promise," she said, her voice sweet and persuasive. Mr. Lucius smiled, amused by her antics. "And what exactly do you need this time, Lilian? Didn't you just go shopping last weekend?" Lilian jingled, "Oh, come on, Dad. A girl can never have too many clothes. Besides, I want Rose to come with me. She makes shopping so much fun." Patricia, who overheard the conversation, walked in with a knowing smile. "Oh, let her go, Lucius. It is good for her to have some fun with her friend." With a playful sigh, Mr. Lucius nodded. "All right, you can go. But don't overspend, young lady." "Thanks, Dad. You are the best," Lilian exclaimed, giving him a quick hug before running over to tell Rose. The 2 friends were overjoyed as they headed to the mall, with a driver accompanying them. The mall was bustling with activities, and Lilian led the way, pulling Rose from one store to another. They tried on dresses, shoes, and even hats, laughing at the silliest styles they could find. "Rose, this dress will look amazing on you," Lilian said, holding up a floral gown. Rose hesitated, It is beautiful, but it's too expensive. I can't let you buy it for me. Don't be silly, Lilian replied, placing the dress in their growing pile. You are my best friend. What is mine is yours. By the end of the trip, Lilian had purchased more than she planned, but she made sure Rose left with few items as well. On their way back home, Lilian's mother, Patricia, called her. How was your shopping trips, girls? Patricia asked cheerfully when they arrived home. It was amazing, Mom, Lilian said, with smile. Rose found some really nice things too. Patricia turned to Rose with a warm smile. Rose, I know your mother works hard at the market. Here is a little something to help her out. She handed Rose an envelope filled with money. Rose's eyes widened and she hesitated before taking it. Thank you so much, Ma. This means a lot to us. Don't mention it, dear, Patricia said kindly. You are practically family to us. Rose felt a mix of gratitude and humility as she held the envelope. She knew how much this would help her mother, but she also couldn't help feeling a slight pang of discomfort. The gap between their world was undeniable. Yet, moments like this reminded her of how much the Lucius family cared for her. Rose and Lilian's friendship took another shape when a young handsome man named Damian moved into the community. Damian was a kind person who stood out, not because of wealth or fame, but because of his quiet confidence and the dreams that light up his eyes. He carried himself with a charm that made people notice him, despite his modest background. Damian held his head high and had a determination that made him unique. Damian's life has not been easy. He lost his father when he was 9 years old. The tragedy left a heavy burden on his mother, Doris, who worked tirelessly to raise him alone. Doris was a kind woman, full of wisdom and love, and she did everything in her power to ensure Damian had a good upbringing. She always reminded him that hard work and honesty would take him far in life. Life was tough for the family, but Damian never let his struggle define him. Instead, they became the fuel for his dreams. He often said, I may not have been born rich, but I will create a life that my mother can be proud of. It was this drive that gave him an aura of strength and maturity beyond his years. When Damian arrived in the neighborhood, people quickly took notice of him. His polite manners and genuine smile made him stand out. But it was his ambition that truly set him apart. He wasn't just an ordinary young man trying to get by. He had plans, and he believed in his ability to achieve them. One warm afternoon, Lilian was walking home after spending some time at Rose's house. The atmosphere was bright and it cast a glow over the streets, making everything seem brighter. Lilian walked with her usual confidence, her head held high and her steps light, almost as if she were gliding. Her long hair caught the sunlight, and the smile she wore, faint and effortlessly, only added to her radiance. Damian, who had been standing near the corner of the street, couldn't help but notice her. At first, he thought it was just another passerby, but as she drew closer, he found himself rooted to the spot. There was something about her that made the world around him blur, leaving only her in focus. Her beauty wasn't just in her looks, it was in the way she moved, the way she seemed unaware of how captivating she was. For Damian, it was though time had slowed down. His heart raced, His palm grew sweaty, and he felt an unfamiliar flutter in his chest. He tried to look away, but it was impossible. As she passed him, a soft breeze carried her scent, and Damian took a deep breath, feeling his heartbeat quicken even more. He wanted to say something, anything, but his words seemed stuck in his throat. All he could do was watch as she walked down the street, her figure growing smaller in the distance. For the rest of the day, Damian couldn't stop thinking about her. It wasn't just her beauty that lingered in his mind. It was the way she made him feel, like she was someone he was meant to know, someone he couldn't let slip away. And so, from that day on, he found himself returning to the same spot, hoping to see her again. In his heart, silently wishing for a chance to speak to her. The next day, Damian returned to that same street where he had first seen Lilian, hoping to catch a glimpse of her again. His heart raced every time someone passed by, but none of them was her. As the hour ticked by and she didn't appear, he sighed and whispered to himself, "I hope she passed here tomorrow." For the rest of the week, Damian made it his routine to wait in that street, determined to see her again. Days turned into weeks, and he began to wonder if their paths would cross at all. But on a bright afternoon the following week, Damian's patience was rewarded. He spotted her from a distance, walking gracefully in his direction. A wave of happiness surged through him as she got closer. Her presence seemed to light up the street, and his heart pounded so loudly he could barely hear his own thoughts. Gathering his courage, he called out, "Beautiful damsel, please excuse me." At first, Lilian ignored him, continuing her walk as if she hadn't heard. But Damian wasn't discouraged. "Beautiful damsel," he called again, his voice filled with sincerity, as he quickened his pace to walk behind her. Finally, she stopped and turned sharply, her expression unreadable. "What is it?" she asked. Her tone carried a mix of curiosity and irritation. "What do you want from me?" Damian smiled softly, his voice gentle, as he replied, "Please, can we be friends?" Lilian raised an eyebrow, studying him for a moment. He could see her hesitation, but he also noticed the faintest flicker of intrigue in her eyes. He took a step closer, his voice earnest as he added, "Please, I want us to be friends." After a long pause, Lilian sighed. "Okay, fine," she said, her tone reluctant. "We can be friends." Excitement spread across Damian's face as he reached for his phone. "Can I have your number, please?" Lilian hesitated again, but eventually took out her phone. They exchanged numbers, and as she walked away, Damian felt like he had won the lottery. For him, this was just the beginning of something special. However, Rose noticed the changes in Lilian. Her best friend was spending less time with her and seemed distracted whenever they were together. Curious, Rose asked her one day, "Lilian, who is this guy you have been hanging out with?" Lilian smiled and said, "His name is Damian. He's different, not like the guys I usually meet." Rose smiled. "Different can be good. Just be careful, okay?" But Lilian didn't fully realize the challenges her body relationship with Damian would bring. Her family, her status, and even her friendship with Rose would all be tested in a way she never expected. Little did she know, This was just the beginning of a wild wind of emotions, conflict, and choices that would shape all their lives forever. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to sparkle, Damian couldn't resist reaching out to Lilian. He dialed her number, his heart racing as she waited for her to pick up. "Hello," her voice came through, calm and sweet. "Hi, Lilian," he said, trying to steady his voice. "I just wanted to check if you have got home safely." Lilian smiled on the other end of the line. "Yes, I did. Thanks for asking." From that day on, their friendship blossomed. They began to talk every evening, sharing stories about their day, their dreams, and their worries. Damian's kindness and attentive nature made Lilian feel special in a way she hadn't before. And for Damian, every conversation with her was like a step closer to his dream of being with her. Meanwhile, life continued as usual for Rose and Lilian. Rose, the ever-devoted daughter, stuck to her routine of helping her mother, Rachel, sell fresh vegetables at the market. The market was always bustling with activities, vendors shouting out about their goods, customers bargaining for the best deals, and the aroma of fresh produce filling the air. Rose enjoyed spending time at the market despite the hard work. She had learned to charm the customer with a warm smile and polite words, which often brought in good sales. On days when her mother had to attend occasions or take care of other matters, Rose took full charge of their store. Lilian, on the other hand, would often visit Rose at the market during her free time. Despite their contrasting lifestyle, she found joy in being by Rose's side, even amidst the noisy hustle and bustle. She would sit next to her friend, discussing about everything in the market, from shopping gossip to their future dreams. "Rose," Lilian said one day, adjusting her sunglasses as she leaned against the wood used to build their small stall in the market. "I don't know how you manage to do this every day. It seems so tiring." Rose laughed softly, wiping her hands on her apron. "It is, but it's worth it. My mother works so hard and I want to support her with the little I can." Lilian admired Rose's dedication, but couldn't fully understand the weight of responsibility her friend carried. She had grown up in luxury, where everything she needed was readily provided. The market life was a stark contrast to her world of shopping trips and fancy dinners. Still, their friendship remained strong. Whenever Lilian visited, she brought a lively energy to the market, often helping Rose arrange the vegetables or calling out to customers in their playful ways. The other vendors found her amusing and daring, though they often commented on how different she and Rose seemed. "You two are like night and day," an elderly vendor once said jokingly, "but somehow you are inseparable." Rose smiled at the comment, feeling a surge of warmth. No matter their differences, she and Lilian were like two halves of a whole, each bringing something unique to their bond. Even as Rose continued her market routine and Lilian enjoyed her comfortable lifestyle, they always found time for each other. It was during this moment of togetherness that their friendship deepened, creating memories that would shape the path they were yet to walk. One day, as Lilian and Damian sat together in a bar where they often meet, Damian decided he couldn't hold back his feelings any longer. The warmth of the setting sun gave him courage, and he turned to her, his voice filled with sincerity. "Lilian," he began, His gaze feasts on hers. There's something I need to tell you. I've been keeping it inside for too long, and I can't hide it anymore. Lilian tilted her head slightly, curiosity lighting up her face. What is it, Damian? He took a deep breath. I have feelings for you, more than just as a friend. You have brought so much joy into my life, and I can't stop thinking about you. Lilian, will you be my girlfriend? Lilian's heart skipped a beat. The truth was, she had already fallen for Damian. His kindness, his unwavering attention, and the way he treated her with genuine respect had captured her heart. She had been waiting for this moment, and now it had come. She couldn't hold back a smile. Yes, Damian, she said softly, I will be your girlfriend. Damian's face lighted up with happiness, and he reached for her hand. Their relationship grew stronger from that day on, fueled by love, mutual respect, and the deep bond they had nurtured. Together, they began a new chapter, one that promised excitement, challenges, and unforgettable memories. The turning point in their relationship came the day Damian invited Lilian to his house. It was a modest one-story house at the edge of town, with walnut walls and a small yard. Lilian's facial look changed as they approached, her eyes scanning the house. Damian, sensing her discomfort, smiled nervously. Welcome to my home, he said, opening the door for her. As they stepped inside, Lilian took in the sight of the small living room, sparsely furnished and lacking the elegance she was used to. She turned to Damian, anger written all over her face. Damian, you mean you live here? She asked, her voice stung with a mix of shock and disapproval. Damian nodded, his expression hopeful. Yes, my love, this is my home. I know you were expecting much, but it's where I grew up. One day I will change all this. I have big plans for the future. I don't think your situation was this bad, Lilian said in a harsh tone. Damian's heart sank. He reached out to her with desperation in his voice. Please, Lilian, don't let this come between us. I love you, and I promise things will get better. I'm working hard to make my dreams come true. Just give me time. But Lilian wouldn't listen. Her voice hardened as she stepped away from him. Love isn't enough, Damian. I can't live like this. I deserve more. Without another word, she turned and walked out, leaving Damian standing alone in the quiet house. He sat down heavily, staring at the empty doorway where she had just been. A wave of sadness washed over him as he realized that his love wasn't enough to bridge the gap between their worlds. He felt a deep ache in his chest, knowing that despite all his effort, Lilian had chosen her comfort and pride over their relationship. From that day, things were never the same. Lilian avoided Damian, and when they happened to cross paths, she acted as though he didn't exist. Rose noticed the distance between them and asked Lilian, how about Damian? She responded, he is fine, pretending as if nothing had happened. After some time, Rose heard about how Lilian mistreated Damian, all because he was not born into a wealthy home. When Rose asked her what she had heard, as she's trying to confirm whether it was true or not, Lilian shouted at Rose, saying, I don't date broke guys. Rose looked at her and whispered to herself, saying, oh, Ada was right. Meanwhile, Damian struggled to move on. Though heartbroken, he resolved to prove to himself, and perhaps to Lilian, that he was capable of achieving greatness. The pain of her rejection fueled his determination to succeed. But deep down, a part of him still hoped she would come back. This continued until one evening, as Damian waited at the usual street where he and Lilian once shared happy moments. He saw Rose walking home from the market. Her basket was filled with vegetables, and her steps were hurried. But she slowed down when she heard Damian call out her name. "Rose!" he called, his voice sounding both eager and tired. Rose turned, recognizing him immediately. "Mr. Damian, how are you doing?" she asked with genuine concern. "I'm fine," Damian replied, though his voice lacked its usual energy. Rose tilted her head slightly. "Have you and Lilian been able to sort things out?" she asked, her tone soft and sympathetic. Damian sighed deeply and shook his head. "No, Rose. She wouldn't even look at me. I have tried everything, but she had made up her mind. She keeps saying I'm not good enough for her." Rose's heart ached as she listened. She saw the pain in Damian's eyes, and for a moment, she wondered how Lilian could be so cold. "I am really sorry, Mr. Damian. I have spoken to her so many times, but she wouldn't listen to me either." "I know you have tried, Rose, and I appreciate it," Damian said, managing a small smile. I don't know what else to do. I love her so much, but maybe I should stop hoping." Damian smiled softly and said, "That is history now. I tried my very best to show Lilian how much I loved her, but she treated me as if I was worth nothing. I have come to terms with it." His tone changed as he stepped closer to Rose, his eyes locking with hers. "But I'm not here because of her." Rose paused and was confused. "Then why are you here?" Rose asked, eager to know. Damian's voice softened, taking on a romantic tone. "Rose," he began, "you have a gentle soul and a kind heart. Ever since I've been chasing Lilian, I've noticed how thoughtful and caring you are. Your gesture, your approach to everything. There's something so genuine about you. I was blinded by my love for Lilian, but now something deep inside me tells me that you are the true woman I've been searching for." Rose's eyes widened in surprise, unsure how to respond. Damian took a deep breath. "Please, Rose, be my girlfriend. I promise to cherish you forever." For a moment, Rose stood there, stunned, her heart raised as she searched for the right words. Finally, she said, "Damian, I don't know what to say right now. This is all sudden, and I think I need some time to think about it." Damian's face softened with hope, but before he could speak again, Rose glanced at the sky, realizing how late it had become. "Damian," she said, her tone gentle but firm, "I really need to go now. My mother will be waiting for me at home." Damian nodded, understanding. "Of course. I didn't mean to keep you for so long. Thank you for listening to me, Rose." Rose offered him a small smile. "It's okay. I will think about what you said. But for now, I have to leave." Damian smiled in return, warm and full of gratitude. "Take all the time you need. Thank you, Rose." As she returned to walk away, Damian stood in silence, watching her as she walked down the path. His heart felt lighter than it had in weeks. Though uncertain of her answer, he was filled with hope, knowing he had finally expressed what he felt deep inside. Rose hurried home, her mind full of thoughts, her heart raised, and she couldn't help but replay Damian's words in her head. She knew she had a decision to make, But for now, she focused on reaching home where her mother awaited her. When Rose got home, thought of Damian consumed her mind. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at nothing in particular. Damian's words echoed in her head. His sincerity, his dreams, and his hopeful spirit. He couldn't deny that he was the kind of guy every lady would admire. Determined, charming, and with a vision for a better future. A small smile crept onto her face as she thought about his persistence. But then, her smile faded as another thought crossed her mind. Lilian. What would Lilian say if she found out? Would she be angry? Would it ruin their friendship? Rose buried her face in her head and sighed deeply. She was the one who rejected him, Rose muttered to herself, trying to reason with her swelling emotions. It's not that I'm stealing him from her. She made it clear she doesn't want him because he's not rich. So why do I feel so guilty? The more she thought about it, the more she realized how unfair she was being to herself. Damian had shown her kindness, respect, and genuine interest. It wasn't like the boy who made empty promises. His dreams and his character spoke louder than his lack of words. I think I need to give him a chance, Rose said softly, almost as if convincing herself. Maybe he really loved me, and maybe I'm beginning to love him too. The thought brought a strange mix of excitement and fear. Rose decided she would meet Damian again and give him her answer. But she also knew she would have to prepare herself for Lilian's reaction when the time came. For now, she focused on her decision, her heart quietly beating with anticipation. The following day, Damian stood at their meeting spot, his heart pounding with nervous anticipation. He had dressed his best, looking more handsome and confident than ever. The sun cast a warm glow around him as he waited, glancing around for any sign of Rose. Not long after, Rose appeared, a basket from the market in her hand, as she walked towards him. Her face lighted up with a warm smile. Damian's heart soared at the sight. Rose, my love, you are here, Damian said, with a smile on his face. His voice filled with affection. Rose nodded, her smile lingering. I'm here, she replied softly. Damian took a deep breath, his eyes locking onto hers. Rose, my love, I promise to love and protect you. I will never do anything to hurt you. You are the most important person in my life now, and I will do whatever it takes to make you happy. Rose looked at him for a moment, her heart swelling with emotion. She couldn't quite put into words. She felt a sense of peace and trust she had never experienced before. If truly you mean what you say, Rose began, her voice steady but gentle, then I accept to be your girlfriend. Damian's face lighted up with pure joy, and before he could say anything, they both moved closer and hugged each other warmly. It was a moment filled with unspoken promises, a bond forming between two hearts, ready to face the world together. As they pulled apart, Rose looked into Damian's eyes. I hope you will keep your promises, Damian, she said with a playful smile. I will, my Rose, Damian replied, his voice firm with sincerity. As the day passed, Rose's mother, Rachel, began to notice subtle changes in her daughter's behavior. Rose had become more lively, her laughter filling the house even when she was alone. Her choice of clothes had shifted to brighter and more thoughtful outfits. And there were times when she would return home later than usual, her face glowing with happiness. One evening, as Rose sat humming a tune while helping prepare dinner, her mother paused and observed her carefully. "Rose," she called, her tone gentle, yet curious. "Yes, Mama," Rose replied, looking up with a smile. Rachel smiled knowingly. "Who is the man?" Rose froze for a moment, her cheek flushing. "Mama, what do you mean?" What man?" she stammered, though the twinkle in her eyes betrayed her. Her mother chuckled. "Don't act like I don't know you, Rose. I see how you have been lately. Your laughter, your new ways of dressing, and the new way you seem lost in thought sometimes. Tell him I want to see him." Rose let out a nervous laugh, but then smiled warmly. "All right, Mama, I will let him know." The following week, Rose informed Damian about her mother's request. Though nervous at first, Damian agreed. "If your mother wants to see me, then I will gladly meet her," he said with determination. On the chosen day, Damian arrived at Rose's house, dressed neatly and carrying a polite, confident demon. Rachel welcomed him warmly, her smile kind and her voice soothing, as she guided him inside. Damian couldn't hear but noticed how much Rose resembled her mother. She is truly her mother's daughter, he thought to himself. Damian introduced himself respectfully, sharing a bit about his background, his dreams, and his intention with Rose. Rachel listened attentively, her eyes filled with warmth and curiosity. But by the end of their conversation, she offered him words of encouragement. "Life is not always easy, Damian," she said, her tone sincere. "But with determination, respect, and love, you can achieve great things. Take good care of my daughter, and may the two of you support each other through everything." Damian nodded, his heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Mama. I promise to always be good to Rose." As the day came to an end, Rachel watched the two of them with a quiet sense of approval. She could see that their bond was renewed, and for that, she was grateful. Months later, Damian sat with Rose in their favorite bar, holding hands gently. "Rose," he began, "I need to tell you something. I have decided to travel to the United Kingdom to meet with some of my friends and explore new opportunities." Rose's heart sank at the thought of being apart from him, but she managed a brave smile. "I'm happy for you, Damian. This is a great chance for you." But she hesitated, tears brimming in her eyes. "I'm going to miss you, my love." Damian pulled her into a tight embrace, his voice steady with determination. "I will miss you too, Rose. But I promise, this is just the beginning of something amazing for the both of us. I will come back for you, and when I do, our lives will never be the same." The day Damian left was bittersweet. Rose waved him off at the airport, clutching the memory of his last words to her like a lifeline. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Life carried on, but Rose never stopped thinking about Damian and the dream he shared with her. Then one day, everything changed. Damian's return was like a wide wind. The once humble man was now a figure of success and admiration. He had built a life in the United Kingdom that exceeded even his own dreams, and true to his word, he came back, not just for Rose, but to transform her world. Damian surprised Rose and her mother with a stunning new home, fully furnished and located in the heart of the city. He ensured that Mrs. Rachel's days of selling vegetables in the market were over, providing them with a life of comfort and dignity. The once simple lives of Rose and her mother were now the talk of the community. One afternoon, Lilian decided to visit Rose, curious about the whisper she had heard. As she approached the grand home, She couldn't believe her eyes. The elegant structure, the lush garden, and the luxury cars parked outside. It all seemed like a dream. Knocking on the door hesitantly, she was stunned when Rose answered, looking radiant and happier than ever. "Rose!" Lilian stammered, her voice filled with surprise. "Is this really you?" Rose smiled warmly. "Lilian, it's been so long. Come in." Lilian stepped inside, appreciating the luxuries around her. "I don't understand," she said, her voice trembling. How did all this happen? Whose home is this?" Rose smiled deepened. "It is ours, Lilian. God through someone made it happen." Lilian froze, her mind racing. "Someone?" she whispered. The word hit her like a wave. Who could this person be? She asked herself silently. "No condition is permanent," Lilian murmured, shaking her head. "Rose, I can't believe this is you." One stormy afternoon, Lilian decided to visit the mall for some shopping. She walked into the grand space, her eyes scanning the crowd for familiar faces. As she moved further in, her gaze froze on a sight that made her blood boil. Rose and Damian walking hand in hand, their smiles lighting up the room. In anger, Lilian stormed towards them, her heel clinking loudly on the marble floor. As she shouted, "Rose, are you serious right now? You are dating this broke guy? They are very poor." Rose, startled by the sudden outburst, gently released Damian's hand. She turned to Lilian, her eyes steady but filled with disappointment. "Lilian, are you serious right now? The home you admired the other day, remember how much you love it? That home was bought by Damian. He bought it for us," Rose said firmly. The words hit Lilian like a storm. She staggered slightly, her face contorted in shock. "It's a lie. That can't be true," she exclaimed, her voice breaking. At that moment, the mall manager approached, holding a bill. "Mr. Damian," he said politely, "here's the receipt for your purchases. A total of 2 million naira for the shoes, bags, necklace, and the clothes." Lilian's eyes widened, her heart sinking as the truth became undeniable. She broke into tears, her pride and confidence shattering. "It is not possible," she whispered, then louder. "It is my boyfriend, not yours. Rose, you stole him from me." Rose, standing her ground, replied calmly, "Lilian, you rejected him. You called him worthless and poor. You remember? Then he moved on. And so what do you want him to do?" Rose asked Lilian. Damian stepped forward, his voice firm yet composed. "Lilian, I tried everything to show you how much I cared, but you pushed me away. Now I have found someone who values me for who I am, not what I have." Lilian dropped to her knees, her tears falling freely as regret and shame overwhelmed her. She watched helplessly as Rose and Damian walked away, their love unshaken. Alone in the middle of the mall, Lilian felt the weight of her choices. Her habit of judging people by their words had left her without anyone to share her life with. The regret cut deep, but there was no one left to console her. Thank you very much for watching this interesting story. Please share your opinion in the comment section. Did Mr. Damian did wrong for leaving Lilian for Rose? Or do you think Rose betrayed her close friend Lilian for taking over Damian after her refusal of dating Damian because he was poor? Please let me know how you think about this love of a thing. You know, love, they say, is a beautiful thing. And don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and also subscribe to follow my channel to get updated. whenever I have new videos. And if you would love to get the second part of this story, kindly put it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. See you in my next episode. Bye for now.